Welcome back to the Garden with Joy and Holly radio show. Happy you've joined us today. Holly, let's go to the hotline and bring in our guest for this week.
Enoch Graham is the creator of The Urban Gardener, which is a garden adventure vlog and video magazine on urban and small space gardening. Welcome to the program, Enoch.
Hey, thank you so much for having me on your show.
Well, thank you for taking time out of your day, not only to educate Holly and myself, but all of our listeners. And I'll start with this, Enoch. Tell us about The Urban Gardener and what was your inspiration to create this online platform?
Well, The Urban Gardener was just a kind of a fun project I got started with, just trying to share some of the kind of fun and unique things that I was doing in the small space garden that I have. And, just kind of turned into a fun little community. And now we do a weekend live stream garden show of our own and all sorts of just, fun things around small space, urban gardening.
Well, this weekend live stream, what was the inspiration? Where was the aha moment that you said, that's what I want to do. That's what's missing. We should try this.
Yeah, well, see, when I first started the channel, again, I was showing things at my garden, but I have a background in kind of journalism, photojournalism, and that sort of thing. So one of the fun things I thought I would do is go and visit other people and visit their gardens and make some videos. And that's kind of where really was those first couple of times that I got out and did that the inspiration for kind of doing more of an interview type of channel and show, and then the show ultimately that we came up with later on after that. Yeah. But yeah, it was really just getting to visit some of those really great first gardeners that we got to go to that really just pushed us on our way to doing the show that we do today.
And those visits, John Coulter is one of them. These people who we watch on a weekly basis that we feel that we know, but it's we have to step back and go, we only know what we see, even though we feel like we're best friends.
Right.
So it's one of those things that it's very unique to meet one of those people that you've seen and watched for years and learned from.
Yeah. John was definitely, that was one of those, John, Kay Cottrell as well too, was another one right off the bat at first, someone, again, like you said, I watched these guys for years. And then for the opportunity to go to John Kohler's garden that I watched him build on all these videos for years, as he inspired me to do my gardening and my small space gardening, getting to visit him and see him and be in that garden space. And again, to be able to talk to him personally about things and the interview I did that first time, again, that's really inspiring, and I'm sure anybody would feel that way if they get to see someone that they really watched a lot of and took in a lot of the inspiration they gave them.
And a lot of us watch these YouTube videos. We have a lot of listeners that watch a lot of gardening YouTube videos. You just have to ask your question, and typically that person will personally respond back to you with an answer of whatever that question is. They're not all scared and celebrity why I don't want to talk to anybody. They're doing this to help you out, and
exactly.
Email them or ask you their question, and they'll answer it for you.
Exactly. And, and that's exactly what I found too. And especially as we moved on to doing the weekend show that we do, I mean, we reach out to some of the top YouTube gardeners, some of these top gardeners, whether it's YouTube. In fact, we just recently did an interview with Joe Lample. He has the Growing a Greener World on PBS. All these sort of people we look at as like, in the gardening world as almost celebrities, right? But they are just people like us. And like you said, they're out there doing work to inspire us. And that's all I've found is just reaching out to people, reaching out to these folks. And I find them to be just as welcoming to me and my questions and especially in the interviews.
Definitely. So what would you say, the biggest challenge in growing in a small area that you've had recently, or just something that, was your biggest challenge?
There's so, again, you guys know as gardeners, there are lots of challenges that we face each and every year. But I think ultimately what my biggest challenge is with small space gardening and utilizing the spaces that we have is growing as much as I want to. No, we all know as gardeners that, we first start with a couple of plants, and the next thing you know, we're trying to grow everything.
Right.
And that's the same no matter what the size of space you have is. And especially for those of us with smaller spaces who are limited with what we're able to do, we want to grow everything. So I think that's the biggest challenge is what can I fit into my space? What can I actually grow?
It's a good drug to have. I want to grow everything.
Yes, exactly.
What encouragement can you offer people who are listening that I listen to this garden show, I watch this, but I just don't have the space to grow anything, but I really want to?
Yeah, I would say find ways with, especially watching like my channel, other channels. I know you guys provide a lot of great information on this sort of stuff as well too, but I find that, there's always something we can grow in almost any space that we have. When I first started gardening, in an apartment. All I had was like a balcony. This is small little balcony that I had, and it was barely getting any sun, but I was still able to grow quite a bit out of that space. So that's one of the things I try to tell people is that if you feel like you can't, give it a try anyways, and you'll be surprised, more than likely, about what you're able to accomplish with very limited spaces.
And people, it's okay to kill plants. You got to kill some plants in order to learn.
Absolutely. I've definitely, and this is the biggest thing, any experienced gardener will tell you this for sure. We kill more plants than we actually grow successfully. And that's all a part of the gardening and plant journey, and learning about caring for plants is, having to go through a few of them in order to get some good experience.
But then 5-7 years down the road, 9 leeks are not going to work in a square foot. You got to put 6 in there, and you'll get beautiful leeks instead of what the book says. And it all depends on your garden and your situation.
Yep, exactly. And, and those are those things, especially with small spaces too. Like you said, it's how much can I fit into a space? Can I grow 1 plant, 2 plants, or 3 plants in, say, a 5-gallon bucket? We use a lot of those in our garden spaces, so there's a lot of trial and error. And a part of that trial and error is, again, as you said, killing off some plants, or maybe not succeeding as well on things. But, another point of encouragement I like to give people is to keep going, man. Yeah. Keep trying. These are the things that we all learn and we all go through, even us experienced gardeners have done, for many years. So, just get out there and grow is what I tell people.
Right. You're not building a house. You're not installing plumbing. You're going to make mistakes. It's not detrimental. Learn from it and do it better next time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gardening and nature and all of that is very forgiving of our, inexperience, and will teach us, along the way as we move forward. So it's just about getting out there, getting your hands in the dirt, in the soil, and just experiencing gardening and experiencing growing your own food, especially. There's a lot of different types of gardening. I really emphasize growing my own food and food growing, vegetable gardening. And I just think there's just nothing more empowering than being able to do that. So when you get out there and you do that, you give it a try, you're going to feel that. And then next thing you know, you're going to be a crazy, passionate gardener, just like myself. And I know you two are as well.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So what was one of your most impactful interviews that you had or have had on your program?
Oh, man, I've done so many great interviews. Definitely, I did an interview, and I just had her back on the show. Ashley Thomas, the Mocha Gardener, she wrote a book called How to Become a Gardener. We've had just a couple of really great conversations. I love her passion for, growing food and what she brings to the table as far as what she does. That was a really great interview. Plus, getting to interview folks like James Prigioni, who I've followed many times. Again, we've mentioned John Kohler, just all these really great people and great folks who are out there doing awesome things and inspiring people to grow and garden. And it's just become my objective to try to interview as many of them as I possibly can so that I can just dig into their garden stories, learn more about them, and then hopefully at the same time, sharing their experiences with other people and introducing them to people they might not have, might not have heard of them as well. Because there's so many awesome gardeners out there sharing their experiences.
Well, a lot of people hear the Pacific Northwest and they think sun and a lot of rain, but you still managed to grow plenty. Please burst that with plenty of sun there. Burst the myth about it always rains up there. Is it always raining, or is there considerable enough nice weather for you to have a successful garden?
Yeah, well, I've lived all over the Pacific Northwest. I'm probably at the bottom of the Pacific Northwest now, but I spent plenty of time living like in the Seattle area, and they do get plenty of rain. But you know what? I when I go and visit there still to go visit friends and family who have got gardens, they got some of the greatest gardens up there. That rain is just really great. I don't think they get too much of it, but you know what? I do like where I'm at in Southern Oregon. I don't get as much of that rain, but I get plenty of sun. We have a great growing conditions all throughout the Pacific Northwest, and I don't think anybody's having any trouble with any rain. So let's burst that myth for sure.
Now, if I remember right, you are in growing zone 8, or did that change when the USDA re-racked everything earlier this year?
No, I didn't change. I was one of those few that didn't change. Well, I guess I was about 50-50, I think is what they were saying. But I didn't change. We're at zone 8B down here in Southern Oregon. And I know several people kind of around me in Northern California and places did change as far as their zones and all of that. But it hasn't really affected me. And I, as far as zones go, I'm not sure if it's really, really too much of an effect on anybody, the changes. It just clarifies things just a little bit more about what climates we're growing in.
Well, we certainly appreciate the time you've offered us, Enoch. How can people find out about you, find your videos, find your weekly program? Where can they go to capture all of that and review and watch past episodes?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Come on and check us out at The Urban Gardener. Just simple, The Urban Gardener on YouTube. Just put that in the search engine. It should be right there at the top. And then come check out our channel. Come check out, like I mentioned, all of these great interviews. We've done several video interviews that we've done. And then come check us out on the weekends, Saturday and Sundays, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've got the Let's Get Growing show where we're interviewing and talking to new people each and every week. And we're just out geeking about gardening and having so much fun every weekend. So I hope everybody comes and checks us out.
Well, we greatly appreciate the time you've offered Holly and myself and all of our listeners and the information you've shared and taught us. Thank you very much for that.
Absolutely, you guys. Really enjoy talking with you very much. And we'll definitely have to get you back on my show again sometime soon.